Imagine saving up for a house while living in one of the most expensive cities in the world. That's my reality right now, and let me just say, it is really, really tough. Sydney, Australia is officially one of the most expensive places to buy a home. The cost of living is so crazy ridiculous at the moment. Everything is just really expensive, and so the Australian dream of owning a home seems to just be slipping further and further away. So in this vlog, I'll be tracking everything from my rent, my bills, as well as my groceries, eating out, all while trying to scrimp up for a house deposit. And at the very end, I'll share my total, which may really surprise you. So in total this week, I spent the average cost of a house here in Sydney is around $1.4 to $1.6 million. My name's Ike and I love sharing vlogs about living and working here in Sydney, Australia. And this is a highly requested video and an update to one that I shared about a year ago on what I spend in a week living here. And honestly, I think it's gotten even worse over the last 12 months. Before we get started, and to set some context, a little bit of background. I live in Sydney with my partner Adam and our dog Clifford. We are currently renting a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment in the southern suburbs of Sydney. I work in a full-time 9-to-5 corporate job, and I also make YouTube videos part-time. We also don't have any kids, and that is a lifestyle choice for us. But if I'm being truthfully honest, the cost is also a huge factor as to why we don't have a big family. Over the last few years, I have become a huge homebody, which has actually really helped with saving for a house. But I also really enjoy traveling, so I'm constantly trying to find a balance between the two. Also, a really quick disclaimer, because I know money can be a really sensitive topic. This definitely isn't a video about how to manage or save money. This is just me being fully transparent and tracking my expenses. And honestly, even I am well aware that I can be very irresponsible with my money, so do not take advice from me. Also keep in mind that everyone's situation is so different and the cost of living can vary so much from city to city, and how we value money is just really personal. Hopefully this may be helpful if you're also on a similar journey to saving up for a house, or you're just curious about the cost of living here in Sydney. I'll definitely make sure to leave timestamps below just in case you want to skip the vlog and go to the very end where I share my total. So with that, let me bring you along to what I spend in a week living here in Sydney, Australia. It is a Sunday today, and usually Sundays are our life admin day, so a lot of running around. First thing on the agenda is to actually take Clifford to the groomers. He is looking so tatty at the moment. He almost looks poor. Look at him. He looks like a disheveled homeless dog. It's time for him to get a haircut. As much as I love how scruffy he looks, it's just getting too hot for him, so we're gonna have to take him to the groomers. He absolutely hates going. Honestly, this guy here is the biggest expense in our household. You will not believe his haircuts are more expensive than mine. How do you put a price on this? Okay, let's head out. It is now a little bit later in the evening. Needless to say, it was a little bit of an expensive day today just because we had to run around, do the grocery shop and pick up a few things. I just wanted to continue the vlog and show you a before and after because he looks like a completely different dog. He's a little bit salty at the moment because he's never happy when he comes back from the groomers. If you're ever wondering what it costs to own a pet in Sydney, it can get very, very pricey. His haircut, which was considered a cheap haircut, was $150. And there he is, look at him. What do you think?
Oh, he's cute.
You think he's cute?
Yeah, you?
It It is Monday morning and I'm heading into the office. One of the things I always do when I go to work is bring my own coffee because coffee in Sydney is super expensive, but on the positive side, I also prefer coffee from home. It's a habit that I kicked many years ago and I've noticed it's made a huge difference to my daily expenses. But then after work, our Monday night tradition, if you've been watching some of my other vlogs, Adam and I usually go to pub trivia. It's just our highlight of the week where we just go to our local pub, have some good food and get really competitive with pub trivia. We've come close to winning these last couple of weeks, but we just haven't managed to do so, but maybe tonight. I've got my bag packed, ready to go. Got to grab my laptop. So yeah, let's head out. I'm working from home today, so I didn't actually go out and spend too much money, which is probably a blessing in disguise. So I thought I'd take the chance to do a little unboxing with you, and honestly, it would not be a what I spend in a week without doing an Amazon unboxing. My partner honestly pays me out and says that I pretty much paid for Jeffrey Bezos's wedding. Well, I'm sure with the amount of money I spent on Amazon, I at least paid for someone's entree. Yeah, I know shopping on Amazon is like a habit that I really need to be more mindful of, but it's just so convenient. If you asked me like 2 years ago, I would have never bought anything on Amazon, and now I'm just like, I'm so reliant. But I am aware of it, so. But anyway, I'm rambling now. Let's just open this up. One of the things I'm trying to do this year as part of saving is actually only buy things once I've run out, especially when it comes to beauty items. I love trying new things, but I'm trying to be a little bit disciplined and just buy things once I've hit an empty bottle. I recently used a Indota spa voucher and had a bit of a self-care day, but while I was there, I picked up some of their skincare and I've completely finished my last bottle. And so I wanted to pick up more skincare. So I have the brightening eye oil as well as their vitamin treatment oil. I'm trying to transition into more simple skincare and I find like oils have been really helping, and both of these products were around $70. Also, a couple of other things that have come through the mail that I wanted to share with you. And one of the costs that I find people don't really talk about is actually the cost of content creation. Like, it is definitely not free. As I start to grow my YouTube channel, it definitely costs money to keep up with it. And these are just some of the things. I had to buy a new hard drive because that just ran out. I currently have about 4 or 5 of these and each one holds about 20 to 30 videos. So once I've reached that, I have to get another one. I like the Lacey brand and I picked up the 2 terabytes for $225. Yeah, it's just one of those things. I can't keep everything on my computer, otherwise it will just slow down and crash. So I have to move everything onto external hard drives. Also, I picked up a couple of things for my camera and my phone. I found these lanyards a while ago and I just picked up some backups because I have a couple of cameras and stuff. This is just the wrist strap and I've put it on my Canon Powershot V1. I just love this sort of pink and green combination at the moment. It's pretty much on all of my tech accessories. Even on days that I am at home, I'm still spending. It was another work from home day, so it was a pretty cheap day. But having said that, I haven't actually really left the house. And so I'm going to head out to our local shops because I do need to stop by the supermarket. Also, I think I'm just gonna have a look around. I think there's a Sephora sale on. Just quickly, before we head out, I always make sure to bring shopping bags with me every time I go to the supermarket, just because you have to pay for these here in Australia. And sometimes they can cost anywhere between like 20 cents a paper bag. We've gotten rid of plastic, which is a good thing, but now we have to pay for shopping bags. I always make sure to bring a few of these with me. I hate paying for things that I know I don't have to pay for, so always bring shopping bags. Actually don't need anything from Kmart. I just like to come and browse, which I know is a really bad habit, but it's Kmart. If you've watched any of my home diaries vlogs, then you will know that Kmart candle section is my favorite section in the whole store, and they have the prettiest candles this season. Look at this, it's in a little ceramic strawberry cake, and this one is so darling. Oh my gosh, like how cute is this? It's a little pancake. I wasn't planning on getting anything, but since they're in stock, I'm gonna grab them. They're just so cute, and I think they would be really good as a makeup bag. Not that I need another makeup bag though. I wanted to sit down and have a chit chat about another cost that I feel like is not really talked about, and that is the cost of content creation. While I love being here on YouTube, to me it is the best social media platform as well as the community here. I just love being part of this corner of social media, and I definitely do it for the love of making videos, and it is a creative outlet for me. It actually does cost a bit of money to have a YouTube channel, and I'm not even talking about the cost of tech gear like camera and lenses. Oh my goodness, if I actually added all that up and then broke that down per week, I think that would be a whole nother bucket of expenses. I'm just talking about the cost of like uploading and publishing YouTube videos, and while being a content creator doesn't have to cost money, at least for me it does. And I feel like content creators that prefer short form content platforms, things like Instagram, TikTok, just shorts, etc., can probably get away with some of these expenses. And being here on YouTube and creating long form content videos, there is a weekly cost. Currently, I am using things like Epidemic Sound to upload my music. I haven't been vibing with some of the songs there lately. I'm not sure if the AI algorithm is just not reading my vibes, or I'm just not on there enough to choose songs that I like for my channel. So I have paused that for a month, and I'm currently looking for other platforms. I think it's just a case of researching a bit more and seeing what's out there, because yeah, I'm starting to realize that I shouldn't pay for things that I'm not happy with. I know that sounds really logical, but you'd be surprised how much we kind of let things go because it's just the most convenient option. And that's how companies get us, by being a bit complacent, time poor, and just going with the default. Whereas I am trying to become a bit more deliberate, and if I'm not happy with the service, then yeah, I'll look elsewhere. I also use Canva to create my thumbnails here on YouTube, and I really do like the platform. It's an Australian company as well, so I always want to support like local tech companies. But having said that, I'm really not getting my money's worth. I actually only use it just to create thumbnails, and currently I'm uploading about 2 to 3 videos a week. I'm uploading about 2 to 3 videos a month. So as you can imagine, I'm only using it sort of 2 to 3 hours a month. So I feel like that's also not really worth it. And also I'm using things like Apple iCloud storage whenever I'm vlogging on my phone, because I just need that extra storage. I'm trying not to film so much on my phone just because of this reason. It's just an extra expense in the background. I am grateful that my channel is monetized. So a lot of my Google AdSense just goes back to reinvesting and just paying for running my YouTube channel, which in some ways is kind of like a side hustle, small business. So those were just some of the expenses that, again, I feel like not many people talk about, but just wanted to put it out there because it does cost a little bit of money to make YouTube videos. But it's a huge hobby of mine, so that's why I still do it and I still love it. While I'm rambling on about YouTube, please let me know what you would like to see here on the channel. I am starting to think about the things that I'd like to produce sort of next year. My plan is to try and upload 4 videos a month, so ideally one video a week, but currently it's probably about a video every 2 weeks. Life has just been lifing and I've just been traveling so much for work and hardly ever home, but hopefully in the next few months it will just settle down a bit and I can share more content here with you. Yeah, please let me know what you'd like to see. I am starting to think about where I'd like to take my channel now that I've almost published 100 videos. I'm starting to get a feel for what I like to make, but also what you guys like to see. I am thinking moving more towards just lifestyle vlogs and focusing on things like living here in Sydney, my home diaries. Of course, any travel, I will definitely take you along with me, but also I'm not sure if I'll continue to make dedicated videos on beauty and fashion and handbags. I definitely don't make as many handbag videos anymore, purely for the fact that I cannot afford them and I'm currently trying to save for a house. So I just feel like a little LV bag would just be very hard to justify at the moment. So I'm currently just using whatever I have in my wardrobe. Yeah, so please let me know what you'd like to see. If you'd like to see more of these, just like living in Sydney, cost of living in Sydney. I could easily make more of these videos because I talk about how expensive it is on a daily basis. Like, it is my biggest bugbear at the moment. So if you want to know more about this topic and just my experience, leave a comment below and I'll definitely make sure to make more of these videos. I feel like I'm rambling now, so I will check in with the vlog tomorrow. It's so windy. Happy Saturday. It is such a beautiful day today. I've come down to our local shopping centre. I have a few beauty appointments. I'm getting some laser treatment for hyperpigmentation. I know the joys of growing older and being in your early 40s. I definitely find myself investing a little more in these things, as well as getting my lashes done. It's not something I do every week. It's more so every 6 to 8 weeks, but it just so happens to fall on this week. I'm a little bit early, so I think I'm gonna grab a coffee. I have been craving a matcha, but I also want to see what Starbucks currently has, some of their new flavors this season. So yeah, let's head out. Okay, let's have a taste test. I always have such mixed feelings with the matcha at Starbucks. It's always hit or miss. Sometimes I really love it and other times I totally regret it. Surprisingly, this one is pretty good. It kind of reminds me of the matcha that I had when I was in Japan. Definitely not too sweet. Really, really good this time. I am currently editing this vlog and wanted to jump back on here and chat about the crazy property prices here in Australia and why it has become so expensive in Sydney, and also why I'm still choosing to save up for a house here. First, let's talk numbers. The average cost of a house here in Sydney is around $1.4 to $1.6 million. That officially makes Sydney the second most expensive place in the world to buy a house. We are behind places like Hong Kong and New York, and those are really tiny little islands. Australia is massive. And don't even get me started about what $1.4 million can buy you in Sydney. If you are looking for an average family size home, expect to pay something closer to about $2 million. So just doing the simple maths alone, in Australia, you need about 20% deposit to buy a house. So for about $1.4 to $1.6 million, I'm looking at about anything between $250,000 to $300,000 for a deposit. I read an article recently that said anyone on an average income, something like a teacher or a nurse, it would take them 20 years to save up for a house deposit. Not even to pay for the house, to save up for the deposit alone here in Sydney. That is ridiculous. Something is really broken here in the Australian property market when our teachers and nurses cannot afford to buy a house. On top of that, prices just keep going up and up every year. So it really feels like the goalpost keeps moving, and every time we get a step closer, the dream keeps moving further and further away. And also on top of that, saving for a house deposit while paying for ridiculous rents here in Sydney, it just feels like a never-ending battle. The average rents here in Sydney for like a 2-bedroom apartment is around $3,000 to $4,000 a month, and that's excluding bills and electricity. And would you believe that is even considered quite affordable? And that's before factoring things like groceries, bills, transport, grabbing coffee. Even coffee in Sydney is anywhere between $6 to $8. I gave up daily takeaway coffee years ago just because it is so crazy expensive. Working hard and saving is just not enough these days. If you're on a similar journey, trust me, I completely feel you. It is really, really hard. So why does it cost so much to live here in Sydney? Well, the truth of it is we just have a really unbeatable lifestyle. We have amazing weather. It is a naturally beautiful place. Most of the job opportunities are here, which is a reason why I moved here. We have great education and health systems, and it's relatively safe. And essentially the unbeatable lifestyle is driving up demand and driving up housing prices and the cost of living here. I was recently watching one of my favorite travel vloggers who visited Sydney for the first time, and I think I counted like 6 or 7 times that they kept saying, I could live here. And that's probably why so many people still chase the dream of owning a home here. Even I know I'm delulu in some ways, but I just love living here in Sydney. We've talked about moving to other parts of Australia, but honestly, I can't imagine living anywhere else. Sydney just feels like home, even though it is a crazy expensive home. I'll definitely be sharing more on our home buying journey very soon, all the ups and I'm sure all the downs. It is going to be a very long journey, so if you're curious, make sure to follow along. I hope you've enjoyed the vlog and just hanging out this week and seeing what I spend living here in Sydney. The main aim of the vlog is really just to be open and transparent and honestly not sugarcoat anything because it is truly really expensive here. So I'm just in front of my computer and I'll run through each of the categories of what I spent this week and put details on the screen here as well as some currency conversions just so you can get an idea. So the first category is groceries. This is a joint expense. So in total for me this week, that was $50. Interestingly, we didn't spend that much on groceries this week. I think because we had quite a bit from the previous week. Moving on to eating out, we went to the pub a few times. I grabbed lunch at work. So in total, I spent $93 and that's including a cocktail. So that's not too bad. I've mentioned this throughout the vlog, but I also think the fact that I've become a homebody lately has really helped me to limit my spending with eating out. Moving on to transport, that includes things like catching the train and the metro into the city, as well as the cost of my car and insurance, as well as petrol. That worked out to be about $88 per week. I personally think the cost of transport is just so crazy expensive here in Sydney. For me, every day I use the train costs about $16 a day. So it all really adds up every time you have to go into the office. It's just very expensive to catch public transport here, and I think I wouldn't mind as much if the transport system was actually reliable. So yeah, it's just pretty expensive to catch public transport here, but also on top of that, it's pretty expensive to own a car here as well. The next category is things I call sort of miscellaneous and hobbies. My non-essential items, I guess you could say like my fun money, and that's just things like my subscriptions, as well as anything to do with content creation. So in total, that worked out to be $351 this week. Oh my gosh, that is pretty pricey, but I do know where the cost is coming from. I needed to buy my hard drive this week because all my storage was running out, and hard drives are so expensive. I usually need to buy one every 6 months or so. It was an expensive week for tech and hobby things. The next category is one that I know I need to work on, and that is health and beauty. But honestly, how do you put a price on self-care? This week, for all things like my skincare, nails, lashes, I spent a total of $550. That is really expensive. And I know this is probably an area where I could find more affordable options, like perhaps doing my own lashes and doing my own nails. But for me, health and beauty is something that I really value. Looking good and feeling good is just something that I am willing to pay for. I feel like I'm sounding like a broken record, but I assure you these are not things I usually indulge in every week, although I wish I could afford to. And the last category, and probably the one that is most interesting, is my household expenses. These include things like our rent and our bill, as well as caring for our dog. He is a huge expense as well, and things like my insurances and utility bills. So this week in total, my share of household expenses was $560, and most of that was on our rent. Our current rent for a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1-carport apartment here in Sydney is $830, and my share was just over $400. So yeah, most of that is dedicated to rent. Would you believe in our previous house, we were paying almost double that per week. Mind you, we were living closer to the city, and we've made a deliberate, conscious effort to move out just so we can save a bit more. The good thing about Sydney is that it is so big, so that there are so many options as to where we can live. But the bad thing is that everyone wants to live in Sydney, so it just keeps pushing the rent up. But it is what it is for now. So in total this week, I spent $1,692. When I just think about it, times 52 weeks in a year, and that is close to about $60,000. So yeah, it is just crazy expensive here in Sydney. I hope you've enjoyed the vlog and seeing how much I spend in a week living here in Sydney and how crazy expensive it is. If you're curious about life here in Sydney or coming along on our journey to buying a home, do consider subscribing because I'll be uploading everything here on my YouTube channel. And if you've watched this far, thank you so much. I really do appreciate the support. I hope you're having an amazing day no matter where you are in the world, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.